good to have you join us once again here on We Connect. Rathi Jafer is my guest today, and we're talking about the Indo-Korean Cultural Center here in Chennai. What kind of links do we actually enjoy with Korea? Do they go back very long into the past?
Historically, I think it goes back to a very, very long time. I don't have the exact date here, but a couple of centuries really, where there are historical records that prove that a princess from Ayodhya married a Korean king and went over to Korea and settled there. And it sort of morphs after a bit, and there's not too much of a lead beyond that. There's also very strong Buddhist links between the two countries. Yes. And in fact, I think almost 80% of travel, other than trade, is really to visit Buddhist places and to go on the Buddhist trail. The Indian Railways have set up a very interesting journey across the northern part of India, where they visit various Buddhist centers. And there are extraordinary temples in Korea with Buddhist artifacts and learning centers. I think a lesser known story, and this I stumbled upon by chance really. I was talking to a Canadian researcher. He's actually Korean, settled in Canada, and he works at the Canadian Tamil Research Institute. Oops. It's one of those really strange phenomena, I think, that is, it has been set up quite recently. But what he's doing is really interesting. He is tracing the link between Korea and India from southern India. So there's it is, I think, the time of the Chola kings, and there were a group of blacksmiths who traveled all the way up not knowing where they were going, ended up in Korea. One of them was so skilled that he rose in rank, became the chief minister and later king. And his name was Sokalingam, and he became King Sok.
Okay, all right.
And apparently a lot of the old Tamil words still continue to exist in Korean, and we've lost out here, or it's changed to something else. So just to give you a sprinkling in terms of the words that are very similar, Amma Appa is exactly the same, mother and father.
Really?
You say Iriva, which is Ingeva,
in
same. You have Ulewa, which means step in, and then you have the funny one, which is Tongpe, which means tope, tummy. And it's, at the moment, if we continue along this trail, we're actually going to step into a new area of research, because Tamil is a Dravidian language and Korean is a Ural-Altaic language. And up until now, there's been no real link between the two, completely separate streams. Now, if this researcher continues, and I think this is a project on hand for us in the future, it would be really interesting to see what the overlaps are historically, sociologically, and in terms of language between the two countries. So the theory, which is quite interesting, is that trade has now linked the two countries back again after all these generations, all these centuries. Yes. And it's a slightly different route, but maybe with culture following close behind, we can close the loop on that.
That's right. I wanted to ask, we don't hear, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, about a lot of people going to South Korea as tourists. We always hear about, the Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, route, sort of triangle that people travel a lot. So how come, we're not hearing that much about South Korea, or am I wrong?
I think trade is still, it's quite right to say that in terms of travel, it's still 80% for trade, and probably about 20% in terms of either religious travel or just for holidays or just to explore a new place. But what is going to happen very soon, I think, is again through film as a medium, because Korea is opening up as a location, and there are subsidies now being offered by the government in terms of scouting for location, looking for newer spaces.
Right. So Rathi, can I interrupt you here and just ask as a final question, what do you see your center doing, say 5 years from now? What are your future plans? Very quick final answer, please.
I think we've moved now from just presentation of work from Korea to collaborative work.
Okay.
We've quite recently had a dance collaboration. We've worked with children in the age group of 11 to 17, so 8 children from Chennai and from Seoul working together. We will increasingly work in terms of linking organizations in television and film, I think, because that's a future area we've not tapped. Yes. There's an increase in language and language studies. Universities here have started to offer Korean as an optional language. There will be projects and programs which are research-based as well as program-based. So it's going to be a double, triple layer that we will be getting.
So quite a lot of stuff on the cards. I want to thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jennifer.
Thanks a lot.
So much.
Really do appreciate your time. You were a delightful guest.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's all we have time for here on We Connect. But you don't forget to keep watching us. Watch the show every single Saturday night at 9:30 p.m. And don't forget that it's a program on which you're going to meet people who are interesting, people who are fascinating, people who always have something wonderful to tell us. And so until the next time, you take care. Bye for now.